Today, these two teams, Ironton St. Joe and Pikeville, continue their quest for this season's championship and a berth in the National Academic Association Tournament as they face off on the all-new High Q. Brought to you by Quality Care Nursing, the Marshall University Division of Technology, and Flawless Flooring and Furnishings. And now from the campus of Ohio University Southern in Ironton, here's your host, Ernie Anderson.
Oh, I love that guy. Is he here? Oh, that's me. Thank you. Our wonderful studio audience, those of you watching at home, and those of you in countries all around the world. Welcome to Pikeville and Ironton St. Joe, both winners in their first round game. This is our first second round game, our 17th show already of the all-new High Q here on the beautiful campus of Ohio University Southern in Ironton. Teams, we're going to begin with this 5-point toss-up. What's the two-word name for the Manhattan Crossroads at 42nd Street and Broadway, the hub of the theater district and the site of huge neon signs?
Pikeville, Jack. Times Square.
Love Times Square. Good for 5. For 5 points, the primary purpose of a reptile's skin is to keep it from desiccating or doing.
Pikeville, Carolyn.
Losing water.
Losing water is right for another 5. You're at 10. For 5 points, spell desiccating. Desiccating.
Pikeville, Carolyn.
D-E-S-E-C-C-A-T-I-N-G.
No?
Ironton St. Joe, Anthony.
D-E-S-S-I.
D-E-S-I-C-C-A-T-I-N-G. Desiccating. For 10 points, what process specified in Article 1, Sections 2 and 3 of the Constitution is the first step in the removal from office of federal officials accused of
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Impeachment.
misconduct? Good. For 10, you tied the score. We have our first visual question of this game, teams. Now, for 10 points, your answer will include the name of a metal. What color is the goblet?
Pikeville, Emily.
Cobalt.
More?
Blue.
Cobalt blue is right. Good for 20. For 5 points, Christians have traditionally conceived of hell as a place of fire. Which one of the following peoples conceived of hell in terms of icy coldness? Chinese, Scandinavians, Greeks, or Arabs?
Pikeville, Emily.
Scandinavian.
Correct for 5 points. Here's a 10-pointer. What is Switzerland's most populous city?
Pikeville, Salmon.
Geneva.
Not that one. St. Joe, Switzerland's most populous.
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Bern.
It's that other one we always forget about, Zurich. For 5 points, in what two European countries did Toscanini refuse to conduct during World War II?
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Germany and Italy.
Good for 5 points. 25 for Pikeville, 15 for Ironton St. Joe in this 10-pointer. What novel begins in the ancient city of London? A boy was born to the poor family of the name of Canty.
Pikeville, Jack.
The Prince and the Pauper.
Is correct for 10. Here's a 5-point music question, our first of the game. Berkeley Plantation in Virginia lays claim to being the site of the first Thanksgiving in the British colonies. That's 1619. But this historic estate was also the site of which a military musical composition was created during the Civil War. This song is played literally every day around the world wherever U.S. military are stationed. Listen and name it.
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Taps.
Yes, taps is good for 5. For 5 points, teams, according to a sociology professor at the Catholic University of America, there would be a 4-fold increase in seminary applications if what vow were not required of Catholic?
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Chastity.
Yes, good for 5. For 10 points, Homo sapiens is the scientific name for modern man. By what scientific name was man's immediate predecessor the first to use fire and create sophisticated stone tools named?
Pikeville, Carolyn.
Homo habilis.
No? St. Joe?
Ironton St. Joe, Anthony.
Cro-Magnon.
Homo erectus. Let's try this visual question now for 10 points. What adjective indicates differently colored streaks, marks, patches, or zones in leaves or flowers? What do we call that streak, mark stuff looking for an adjective? Well, then I'll have to tell you. It's variegated. Spell. No, we don't like to spell variegated. For 5 points, you may need your pen and paper for this. Two girls sit on a seesaw. One of them weighs 100 pounds and sits 2 feet away from the center. The other weighs 50 pounds. How far from the center will she have to sit for the seesaw to be balanced?
I'm going to say Joe Levi.
4 feet.
4 feet is right. You get another 5 at the end of the quarter. Pikeville leads by 5, 35-30, and now we're going to go over here and meet our teams that have come this way to play this second round game on the all-new High Q. Going over to Ironton St. Joe, who made the long trek here to, are you McLean indeed? And we're going to talk to Levi, and Levi, you won your first round game. It's a pretty close game. You seemed to come alive in that 60-second round, which really helped you out a lot.
Yeah, we have some guys that know all about sports.
So there you go. Tell us again about Ironton St. Joe.
Well, located here in Ironton on 6th Street. We have about 90 students, 7th through 12th, and our principal is Jim Maines III.
The third.
Yeah.
And your coach today.
Glenna McLean.
She's back. She, against her better judgment, she said, no, we'll come back. And here you are in round 2. Of course, whoever wins this goes into the quarterfinals. So, Emily, you're back from Pikeville. Your game was a little less tense, I guess, if you would say it that way. You had a good opponent, Lincoln County, first-time player. So they did admirably well, and we'll look for them in a future taping. But, Emily, tell us about Pikeville.
Pikeville is in eastern Kentucky. We're a small independent high school with about 500 people. Our principal is Royce Mayo, and our coaches are Bennett Stewart and Karen Murphy. Bennett
and Karen are here to root the teams on. And we're going to go into our bonus round now, where we're going to start with a rather lengthy 10-point toss-up, but it's a cute question. I like this. So, and you may need your pencil and paper as you go along. Symbols for 3 chemical elements, iodine, vanadium, and carbon, can also be represented as Roman numerals. First, subtract the symbol for iodine from the symbol for vanadium. Next, multiply by the symbol for carbon. Now, your result, when written in Roman numerals, will be the symbol for another chemical element. Name this element found in batteries, whose atomic number is 48. Subtracting the symbol for iodine from the symbol for vanadium, multiply by the symbol for carbon, and when written in Roman numerals, your symbol is for another chemical element that is found in batteries, the atomic number 48. Can you figure that one out, teams? Perhaps not? Oh?
I'm going to say Joe Anthony.
Lithium.
No?
Pikeville Emily.
Nickel.
Well, you have 4 times 100 equals 400, or CD, which would be cadmium. So we'll hold that bonus question and get to this toss-up for 10 points. What was the primary use for the Australian Aborigines boomerang?
I'm going to say Joe Levi.
Hunting.
Hunting is right for 10. And let's see how well you hunt on this. Pop artists. I'm going to look for the surname of each of these pop artists or painters for 5 points. Andy, this is your bonus, so you don't have to ring in. Levi will give us the answer.
Warhol.
Warhol is good for 5. How about for 10 points, Roy?
Goodman.
All right, for 10 points, Pikeville. Roy?
Liechtenstein.
Yes, Liechtenstein or Liechtenstein. Good for 10 points. So it's a tie score now at 45, and I have a music question. Now listen carefully to an excerpt from Schubert's Trout Quintet and identify the lowest pitched musical instrument you will hear.
I'm going to say Joe McLean.
Cello.
No? Little early buzz on that. Lowest pitched musical instrument.
Pikeville Jack.
Double bass.
Double bass is right for 10 points. And your bonus is on carcinogens for 5 points. Exposure to what is a major factor in the development of melanoma? Exposure to what?
UV rays.
Yes, good, or sunlight. For 10 more points, excessive exposure to radon or asbestos increases the risk of what kind of cancer?
Oh, yeah.
Lung cancer.
Lung is right for 10. For 15 more, high-fat diets may contribute to the development of cancers of 3 body parts. Name any 2 of them. High-fat diets.
Colon and rectum.
No. Give you the 15 points, Ironton, if you give me 2 of the 3 body parts that high-fat diets may contribute to the development of cancer in.
The heart and colon.
No, the colon is right. Breast or prostate would have been the other 2. So you pick up 10 points on that, 70 to 45, and another 5-pointer. For the Latin American man, what word carries the image of being strong, respective, protective, and capable of providing for his wife and family?
Ironton St. Joe Levi.
Dawn.
No?
Pikeville Jack.
Macho.
You are a macho man, Jack. Good for 5 points. I want to be a macho man. Oh. All right, I have an anatomical quotations bonus for you now for 5 points. A government slogan of World War II was that blank blank sink ships.
Loose lips.
Loose lips is right. For 10 more, William Bradford wrote of the Pilgrim's Landing. They fell upon their blank and kissed the God of heaven. This is their bonus.
Faces.
Not faces. Now you get a chance for 10 points, Levi. They
Knees.
felt. Say again?
Knees.
Knees is right for the 10 points at the end of our bonus round. And it's 80 for Pikeville, 55 for Ironton St. Joe. When we come back, we'll have our 60-second round. Crossing the bar, opening lines, citizenship, and buildings will be our categories when we return to the all-new HiQ.
Closed captioning for the all-new IQ is brought to you by Flawless Flooring and Furnishings. Stay tuned for the fast-paced 60 seconds round when the all-new IQ returns. If you think your team has what it takes to compete nationally, go to QUnlimited.com and consider matching wits with teams from all around the country during the annual National Academic Tournament. And now it's time for the exciting 60 seconds round with your host, Ernie Anderson.
Thank you, Tim. And welcome to the 60-second round. I would like to say that with the resurgence of the all-new HiQ, I must have signed outside the studio today like 30 autographs. Nobody took them, but I signed them. But anyway, that's not why you've come to play the game. All right, Ironton St. Joe, you have you're down in score right now, but you can pick up, as you well know from your first round game, with crossing the bar, opening lines, citizenship, or buildings.
We'll take citizenship.
Citizenship. Let's see if your citizenship teacher, what class do you have along those lines? What do they call that?
Problems of democracy.
Well, problems of democracy. Let's see what problems you might encounter or not. Start the clock. Answer these questions that applicants for American citizenship are required to answer. Why did the Pilgrims come to America?
Religious freedom.
How many amendments to the Constitution have there been so far?
27.
What right is provided by the 15th Amendment?
Pass.
When was the Constitution of the U.S. adopted?
1789.
What form of government do we have in the United States?
Representative democracy.
How many presidential electors are there?
Pass.
What are the 3 inalienable rights of the people guaranteed by the Declaration of Independence?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Ironically, what prevents the Pledge of Allegiance from being recited in public schools today?
What amendment? What amendment? The First Amendment.
Why does the flag, as far as we get on 9, you pick up 5 though, of the 8 plus the little bit we got to answer these questions that applicants for American citizenship are required to answer. What right is provided by the 15th Amendment?
Citizenship to blacks.
It's the right to vote. How many presidential electors are there?
538.
538 is correct. And ironically, what prevents the Pledge of Allegiance from being recited in public schools today?
Mention of God.
Yes. And why does the flag, is as far as I got on that one.
It's number of states.
Why does the flag have 13 stripes? Would have been, of course, you know now, for the 13 original colonies. But you pick up 2 on that. All right, nice job on citizenship between you now. Crossing the bar, opening lines, or buildings?
Opening lines.
Opening lines. All right, start the clock. I'll quote the opening lines of some of the greatest works of literature. You identify the masterpiece each selection comes from. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Book of Genesis.
This is the formal forest primeval.
No, Dante. The Inferno.
Scarlett O'Hara was not beautiful, but men seldom realized it when caught by her charm, as the Tarleton twins were.
Gone with the Wind.
Call Me Ishmael.
Moby Dick.
When in April the sweet showers fall and pierce the drafts of March to the root.
Pass.
It is a truth universally acknowledged.
Pride and Prejudice.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of
Tale
times.
of Two Cities.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the son of York.
Richard III.
Arms and the man I sing.
The Aeneid.
If music be the food of love, play on.
As You Like It.
No, but we get through all 10 of them, and you pick up 7 on opening lines, so good job there. I'm going to quote the opening lines of some of the greatest works in literature. You identify the masterpiece that each comes from. This is the forest primeval.
Ivanhoe.
That's Evangeline. When in April the sweet showers fall and pierce the droughts of March to the root.
The Iliad.
That's the Canterbury Tales. If music be the food of love, play on.
No answer.
That is Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. But after our umpteenth question, we have a score of 170 for Pikeville, Ironton St. Joe at 105. Our Stump the Experts round is coming up next when we return to the all-new High Q.
Discover your promise, your talents, your abilities, yourself at Ohio University Southern in Ironton and Proctorville, with associate and bachelor degree programs that prepare you for your future. Ohio University Southern.
Questions for the all-new High Q are researched and authenticated by Questions Unlimited in Columbus, Ohio. Time now for our final round, Stump the Experts, where the questions are more difficult but are worth more points. This will determine today's winner and see which team advances to the next round. Here's your host, Ernie Anderson.
Thank you, Tim, and welcome back here to our fourth and final round, where we'll start with a 20-point visual question. Teams, look at your monitor. This painting was done in the 16th century by a Venetian artist. The title is Venus and Adonis. Its style influenced painters for the next 2 centuries. In fact, some art historians rate this painter the most influential artist of all time. Name this Renaissance master.
Iron St. Joe Levi.
Michelangelo.
No? Good try. Pikeville?
Pikeville Jack.
Titian is right for 20 points. I have another 20-pointer. What is the Spanish equivalent of the German word Mittwoch?
Iron St. Joe Anthony.
Carne asada.
No, although you're making me hungry.
Pikeville Carolyn.
Miércoles. So it's Wednesday in German. Mittwoch. Just sounds mean, doesn't it? Located in Brunswick for 15 points, it's Maine's oldest institution for higher learning. Can you name it?
Pikeville Carolyn.
Cambridge.
No? Always good to venture a guess. It might be right.
Iron St. Joe Anthony.
University of Maine.
It's Bowdoin College. For 15, what is lamented in the Old Testament book of Lamentations? Is it expulsion from Eden, death of King Saul, parting of the Red Sea, 7 plagues of Egypt, or the destruction of Jerusalem?
Pikeville Jack.
Destruction of Jerusalem.
It's correct for 15. You're at 205, 105 for Ironton St. Joe, and many questions to go before I sleep. I have a music question for 20. What was the last musical to win the Oscar for Best Picture? Listen.
Ironton St. Joe, Anthony.
Eleanor.
No? I think there's a little bit left here, Pikeville. Makes you want to run out and buy the soundtrack, doesn't it?
Pikeville, Lindley.
Music Man.
It's Oliver. Let's try this for 15. Ancient North African states like Namibia and Mauritania were formed by Incas, Berbers, Visigoths, Phoenicians, or Ethiopians. Ancient North African states like Namibia and Mauritania were formed by Incas, Berbers, Visigoths.
Pikeville, Solomon.
Ethiopians.
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Berbers.
Berbers is right for 15. 205 to 120 and another 15-pointer. Everywhere beneath the soil at greater or lesser depths, there exist the solid, continuous masses of rock which make up the Earth's crust. What compound word describes any place,
Pikeville, Carolyn.
Bedrock.
no, where such rock protrudes through the soil cover?
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Fault line.
It's outcrop. I have a 20-pointer now, teams. It's a research institution devoted to the advancement of learning and a background of Anglo-American civilization in the 16th and 17th centuries, as well as many aspects of the Continental Renaissance. Name this building in Washington, D.C. that has 79 copies of the Bard's First Folio.
Pikeville, Emily.
Library of Congress.
No?
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
The Smithsonian.
It's the Folger Shakespeare Library. For 15 points, which state is represented by a monarch in our National Statuary Hall? What state represented by a monarch?
Pikeville, Carolyn.
Georgia.
Ironton St. Joe, TJ.
Massachusetts.
It's Hawaii. Let's try another visual. More mythological art for your consideration. Now she's at the far left of the painting, clothed in blue and a red sash, turning away from the pink-caped god climbing out of his chariot to woo her. Name this mythological woman, deserted by Theseus and portrayed in this 1524 Titian painting along with Bacchus. That's Ariadne. I have another music question now. This famous string serenade was composed in 1787. Name both the title and the composer. No takers on Eine kleine Nachtmusik, and that is Mozart. All right, so we'll move along now to another toss-up question for both of our teams. For 15, you may need your pen and paper to find the limit as x approaches 0 of the quantity sine x over x.
Ironton St. Joe, Anthony.
1.
1, the loneliest number. Get you 15. For 15, in contemporary chronicles of the American Revolution, we come across references to North River and South River, near which many battles were fought. Which major south-running river was then known as North River? The American Revolution. Very...
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
The Delaware.
No?
Pikeville, Solomon.
The Potomac.
It's the Hudson. For 20 points, which U.S. state has the greatest number of active volcanoes?
Ironton St. Joe, Levi.
Hawaii.
Pikeville, Emily.
Montana.
It's Alaska. I think I can see it from here. Yeah, how about that? For 15, which of these is the most pathetic fictional character? Antigone, Daisy Miller, Moll Flanders, Blanche Dubois, or Scarlett O'Hara?
Ironton St. Joe, Anthony.
Antigone.
Pikeville, Jack.
Blanche Dubois.
Blanche Dubois is right at the end of the game. We'll validate the score and be back when the all-new Haikyuu returns. Okay, Pikeville is the first team to advance to the third round, 220 to 135 over Ironton St. Joe. Thanks so much for coming, teams. Ernie G. Anderson reminding you to adopt a spayed or neutered pet for a lifetime of love. See you next time on the all-new Haikyuu.
The all-new IQ is brought to you by Quality Care Nursing, Marshall University Division of Technology, and Flawless Flooring and Furnishings. The all-new IQ is a production of Ohio University Southern in Ironton. This is Tim Atkins. So long, and thank you for watching.